Do you have dough that's overproofed or that's been sitting in the back of the fridge that you forgot about? Today we're gonna make some pizzas using some overproof dough. Welcome back to my pizza channel, it's the Pizza Guy John. Today I'm gonna be making pizzas using dough that I've had in the fridge now since Sunday. So we're going on, what, 3-4 days now of this dough, and it's basically overproofed. As you can see, there's a lot of bubbles, and you know, it's coming to the end where we need to do something with this. So I'm gonna let this sit out room temp now for about an hour, kind of relax a little bit. This dough has now been sitting out at room temp for an hour. As you can see, big bubbles, it's sinking kind of down in the middle. So this dough is overproofed. Like I said, this dough was made on Sunday, went through the full process of fermentation, balled back up and placed into this container. Now it's been sitting in the fridge, and now it's Wednesday. So right off the back, you get a little bit of bitterness, sourness, you know, coming from the dough aroma, but it's not super bad. So the dough is still, you know, pretty good. I'll put all the dough specs down below, but this was 2 dough balls, and now it's basically kind of formed into one. And so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take this out and we're gonna ball this up to about 270 gram dough balls, and we'll let it sit at room temp for another couple hours. I'm thinking about 2 to 3 hours to see what happens. Then we'll make some pizzas. So let's go ahead and get this flop down here. And I just put some oil down in here and some semolina, and you can see it just kind of flops out. So there's still some air in here. It's not like super deflated, which is nice. So like I said, we're gonna kind of just split this up. And let's try to get a 270 gram dough ball out of this. It's about 220, 250. So let's kind of, and we kind of want to be careful because again, there is some air in here. We don't want to deflate too much of it. 271, that's perfect. So let's go ahead and let's just kind of, dough is still a little cold, which is totally fine. Kind of just, and like I said, you know, it kind of pulls off of a little aroma, but it's not bad or anything like that. So the dough is still going to be good. This was used with the Caputo Pizzeria flour, the blue bag. So like I said, I'll put all the specs down below and kind of get that flop. So then let's get this last one here, and this should be about the same. So let's just 276, which is fine. So that's totally good. Let's go ahead and just get this balled up, and you can still see some air in there, which is good. And like I said, you could do whatever you choose. You can make pizzas, calzones, you can make bread. You know, again, it's still dough, so you know, there's nothing wrong with it. Just, you know, a little overproof. So we'll get those 2 in there. We'll let this sit at room temp, like I said, for about 2 to 3 hours. We'll kind of watch it to see how it grows. All right, welcome back. So it's been about 3.5, 4 hours now. As you can see, the dough has doubled in size. It's super airy. So at this point, we're ready to make our pizzas. Before we do, let's go and take a look at the oven that's been preheating now for about 30-40 minutes. So let's take a look. A little windy today, but not too bad. So we're looking about in the center, about 795, 800, which is perfect. You know, that's kind of what you want. 900 would be preferred, but 800 works too. All right, so let's go ahead and get our dough. So let's get some semolina down here. Get this put up there. And let's go for this big guy right here. And I'm just gonna go ahead straight underneath it, right into the semolina. And let's get this flipped around. And yeah, this dough ball is really nice. So let's go ahead, we'll start from the center. Let's push out. All right. super airy, which is still, like I said, really, really nice. Get that flip back over. And let's kind of go ahead. And it kind of retracts still back a little bit, so honestly the dough could have gone out longer, just a little bit longer, but it will work. So you do want to kind of be careful with it, watching it as you stretch. And I think that size will work for now. So what we're going to be making basically is pepperoni. I got some oregano, I got some basil, mozzarella, and some Parmesan. So we're going to put the basil down underneath. Since it's not a margarita, we'll just go ahead and put that down underneath off on the sauce. So let's get this here. And we'll also do some oregano as well. All right, and we got some pretty big basil leaves. So like I said, we'll just kind of break this up and put this all over. And we'll do a little bit more as well. You know, honestly, you could do a lot of basil. Doesn't really matter. Basil's good. And let's do a couple more pieces there. And we'll do a little bit right here. Oops. Now we'll go down with our mozzarella. And this is just some low moisture mozzarella. So let's just kind of get this out here. All right, and like I said, we're going to be doing some pepperoni, so just kind of put that out there. A couple more pieces here. All right. And if you wanted to, you could also do some Parmesan on top, which actually, let's go ahead and do that. All right. Then we'll go ahead and get it to our pill. So let's kind of get some of that off there. All right. And we'll just do one final stretch here. All right, that's perfect. See the red, you can see the green. And we'll get it onto the oven. We'll get that turned down. And we'll go ahead and just watch that. And so like I said, this dough is about 3-4, yeah, it's about 3 days old now. So it's kind of, you know, overproofed. And now, you know, we've reballed it. Got it back to doing like another proofing. So you know, interesting to see what it's going to turn out. You know, there may not be no change, the flavor may be a little bit more different, but like I said, we'll kind of take a look and see. So give it a couple of seconds on that side. And we'll go ahead now and get a spun here. You could already smell the basil. Crust is looking pretty good. So like I said, the first thing that I did notice out of the dough was that it kind of wanted to push back a little bit more than normal. So that could just be because of just the way that the dough is. But other than that, you know, you could definitely see some burning, you could see some charring of it. So, you know, it's cooking, the bottom's cooking nicely. So we'll just make sure we get all the crust. So we have a pretty big crust, which is, you know, got pretty nice. I'll kind of get this corner over here. Kind of what I'm doing is I'm moving it to the hotter parts of the stone, and I'm kind of just getting it cooked a little bit better. So we're almost there. I think we could do one last. Bottom's looking good. So I think we're good as far as the crust. You can see the basil, so I think we're good. Let's go ahead and get this inside and we'll let it cool, and then we'll do a taste test of this dough. All right, so the pizza is now cooled down now. Let's take a look at this. You can see the crust is really big. So like I said, there's still a lot of air in there. Let's listen to that crust. Nice and crispy. Let's take a look at the bottom. Bottom is nice and cooked, so let's go ahead and get a cut of this. Let's just get this guy right here. You hear that nice crunch in there? Just gonna get some cuts of this. Really nice. So let's just get a little bite here. You can see nice airy crust, basil and pepperoni. Such a good pizza. Still get the crunch from the basil. The oregano, you can really taste that, you know, the spices. Pepperoni is good. So like I said, this pizza dough was made on Sunday. It was reballed and everything on Wednesday, and look how good it still comes out. So, you know, again, never throw, you know, don't have to throw away any overproofed dough. Reball it, let it sit out in the room temp, you know, for a couple hours, and then it's ready to go. So if you like what you see, like and subscribe to my channel, turn that bell notification to be notified when I make new videos, and also check out my Instagram at the Pizza Guy John. We'll talk soon.